Hi, my name is Laura Jacoby, and my presentation is on the developmental language milestones for children 0 to 18. To begin, we start at birth to 2 years. Quite a bit happens in terms of language development during this period of time. As early as 2 months old, children typically turn towards sounds. They'll turn their head towards sounds they hear. They begin cooing and gurgling. By 4 months old, children typically begin to babble. They also cry for help. They're able to cry in different ways to show hunger or pain. And by 6 months, typically, children are able to respond to sounds by making sounds. They can string vowels together when making sounds. They respond to their own name. And they begin to use consonant sounds with M and B. This video was of a typical 6-month-old babbling and using sounds beginning with M and B. Moving on to 9-month-old children, they typically copy the sounds and gestures of others. They understand the word no. And at 12 months, children are able to respond to simple requests such as get the ball, and they use simple gestures like waving bye-bye. At 18 months, children are able to say several single words. They shake their head and say no. And by 24 months, children are able to point to things or pictures when they are named. They know the names of familiar people such as mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, and body parts. And they point to things in a book. By 3 years old, children are typically able to follow instructions with 2 to 3 steps. For example, go outside and kick the ball. They know the names of friends. They can name most familiar things, and they know their first name, their age, and their sex. By 4, children know some basic grammar rules, such as when it's appropriate to use he or she. They can tell stories. They know their first and last name. They sing songs or say poems from memory. And by 5, children are able to typically speak very clearly. They use a future tense, such as grandma will be here, and they know their full name and address. At 6 years old, typically first grade, children know their full name, their age, their birthday, and address. They are able to read at least 10 easy sight words, tell a coherent story about people or objects in a picture, and they understand common opposites like big, little, or short and tall. All right, at 7 years old, typically your second graders, children are able to use children have a vocabulary of several thousand words. They begin to grasp the idea that letters represent the sounds that words form, and their reading is much improved, constantly getting better and better. By 8, children are able to converse at nearly an adult level. Their memory capability has increased, allowing for longer periods of listening. They're able to follow complex directions with little repetition, such as following a recipe. They're able to talk about their problems, and they learn to express their opinion and can retell real and imaginary events. By 9, students are able to read with a goal of learning about something of interest. Their speech patterns are nearly that of an adult. They use a variety of words. They organize information for clarity, and they're able to summarize and restate ideas. By 10 years old, students are able to participate in a group discussion, and they are able to form opinions based on evidence. They also use more figurative language in conversation, like "I'm in hot water." They also listen to and understand information presented by their peers. The following is
How did you monitor time?
And Ian, what was that answer that you gave me?
You check if there's bugs, discolored leaves.
What did you guys do with the ruler?
We measured it.
Measured it?
Height and the length.
Yeah.
The height and the length.
What's the next question?
How many soil did you use?
You would get it.
Thank you.
This video is a great example of a group discussion going on in a science class. By 11, students have learned to summarize main points of a text. They understand common idioms like "you're a couch potato" or "break a leg." They are able to make planned oral presentations that are appropriate to their audience. And they understand jokes based on word ambiguity, like "he's an unbelievable man." Either the man is a liar or he is an incredible, awesome man. At 12, students typically are able to persuade using a well-informed argument. All of their speech sounds are formed and they generally have few or no articulation errors. They're able to explain results through a discussion. At 13, students are able to distinguish fact from opinion and evaluate the credibility of sources. By 14, these students are able to give explanations that are less literal and more figurative, and they're becoming increasingly concerned with moral issues. And by 15, students are able to think logically about concepts. They're reading a great deal at this point. They're increasingly able to memorize, and they thrive on arguments and discussions. And by 16, students have a higher level of comprehension and vocabulary than ever before. Their arguing skills are improved. They have ability to apply concepts to specific examples, and they're beginning to understand punctuation.
Welcome, everyone, to the official debate section of the Charter Review. Unfortunately, the captain of the university debate team had a scheduling conflict. Yeah, so we had to bring someone else in to fill in for this event. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the co-host of CNN's Crossfire, famed political consultant, the Raging Cajun, Mr. James Carville.
Thank you. Thank you, Dean Pritchett. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here, sir.
Topic number 1. What is your position on the role of government in supporting innovation in the field of biotechnology?
Well, Dean, I'm glad that you asked that question.
Actually, I'd like to jump in and take that one, Jimmy, if you don't mind.
Have at it, Hoss.
Recent research has shown that empirical evidence for globalization of corporate innovation is very limited. And as a corollary, the market for technologies is shrinking. As a world leader, it's important for America to provide systematic research grants for our scientists. I believe strongly there will always be a need for us to have a well-articulated innovation policy with emphasis on human resource development. Thank you.
While Will Ferrell is certainly an older 16-year-old, the idea here is that he is able to apply concepts to specific examples and that his arguing skills have improved. By 17, students typically are able to determine or clarify the meaning of multiple meaning words and phrases, and they participate in collaborative discussion. And finally, by 18 years old, students are able to respond thoughtfully to diverse perspectives. They're also developing a deepening life perspective, and they have an ability to draw evidence from text to support analysis, reflection, and research.